Hello students and welcome to Shri Gyan Manjay Vidyapit, where we are learning the subject of English for Standard 10. Students, we had started with chapter number 1 in the previous two lectures. Let's take a quick recap of what we have learned. This is the third lecture for chapter number 1. Name of the chapter is A Letter to God, and the story has been written by G.L. Fuentes. In the first lecture, we broadly understood the books that are included in the syllabus of Standard 10 English. There are two books. The first book is First Flight, wherein 11 chapters and 10-11 poems are there. That is the main book. And we have a supplementary book by the name of Footprints Without Feet, where 10 chapters are given, right? And at the end of the year, we have to do this 21 chapters and 11 poems, plus lots of grammar, lots of writing. We broadly understood the layout of the different questions, various types of questions that are asked in the board paper. Whole of the board paper pattern, blueprint, whatever you say, we understood that in the first lecture. Then we started with chapter number 1, where we understood hardly one or two paragraphs in the start. Then in the second lecture, we continued with that. So what did we learn in first and second lecture? We are learning about the story of Lencho, a simple farmer. He is a simpleton. Yes, he is a plain simple man who lives with his family in a valley. Valley, mountains, hills can be seen rising just where the valley ends. You can see the hills and mountains rising over there. Whole of the valley, he is the only, his is the only family living in that valley. There's a river flowing, and beside the river, his field stretches till the eye can see. It's a very huge field, and he has the house on an elevated portion of land, which is a small hill. He has built his house over there. So, standing in front of the house, he can see the entire valley, the nearby hills and mountains. He can see the river. Main thing is he can supervise, or he can look after his fields right from where he is standing in. He can see the complete stretch of field in front of him. Yes, he can monitor, he can look after his field right from there. Yet, so in the starting we see that Lencho, who is living on the top of the or you can say crest of a small hill, yes, he is looking towards the northeast direction, and he also looks down sometimes upon his crop. He has grown maize or corn. The plants have come about the size, and now they are flowering. So you can see whole of the field dotted with flowers. Flowers will turn into fruit, that is maize or corn. And right now he sees that the soil has gone dry, and a downpour, a single downpour or a single shower can help the plants or the soil again to get moisture. And this is how it is promised that he will get a good harvest, provided it rains very soon, that is immediately today or tomorrow. He expects the rain to come today, but till the end of the evening, he is not able to find any clouds coming from the northeast direction. The woman of the house, that means the wife of the farmer, she was preparing some supper, and when she finished it, she went outside and called everybody in to have supper. So the elder boys who were working in the farm, the younger ones who were playing just nearby in the front of the house, all of them came and sat for supper. It was during that supper that they heard big drops of rain falling on the roof, and all of them, especially the farmer Lencho, was very happy that as per his prediction, rain came today. So he went outside and saw that thick black clouds, mountains and mountains of black clouds, they were approaching from the northeast side, and slowly graying the sky, darkening the evening more sooner. And big drops of rain were falling, and he told to his wife that these are not the big drops that are falling from the sky, they are new coins, because if the rain comes according to the desire, then we will have a very good harvest, we will have lots of money. So actually those raindrops are representing coins because they'll benefit from it. The rain started, and he, just to get the feeling of it, he comes outside his house and gets wet a little bit, and then he again comes inside, and he's a quite satisfied man. But very soon the winds changed into cold winds, and the raindrops changed into hailstone, right? And they started falling from the sky. He got a little bit worried because hailstones, they are quite big, they are heavy, and they come down with force because gravity is pulling. The hailstones, they are huge lumps, or you can say round lumps of ice falling that side. Rain falling from whatever height is not going to harm the plants, the vegetation, but the stiff, cold, marble-like, icy marble-like pearls dropping from the sky is going to hit the crop, and it's going to destroy the vegetation and the agriculture. So he's getting a little bit worried, and he addresses his wife and says that hope it just does not last for quite a long while. It will finish very soon. It won't do that much destruction, and it will pass away. But it doesn't happen so, and for 1 complete hour the hail keeps on raining on the field, on the mountains, on the hills, on the trees, on the roof, especially on the field. He keeps helplessly looking at the hailstorm, which lasted for 1 hour, and finally when it stopped, there was not a single leaf on any of the trees on the mountainside, hillside, and all his crop was totally broken, bent, the flowers were gone. It was complete destruction. Yes, it was devastating to see that his field was covered with ice balls equivalent to salt, which is of no use, and it's going to spoil his year, right? He's not going to get any harvest, not a single corn he is going to get from his field. So he keeps looking at it helplessly. That is where we reached. Now let us continue with lecture number 3, that is today. Lencho's soul was filled with sadness. Yes, now we must understand that he is the bread earner of the society, of the family. He is the bread earner of the family, and he is responsible because he is not only a husband, he is also a father, and he has a family to look after. His family is dependent on him. We can see the elder boys, but they are also not of that age, and they are not experienced. Other boys are smaller, right? We are not given the number of children, but we can assume there will be at least 3-4 of them, right? Now he is responsible for the survival of his family, and he is helpless right now in front of nature. Nature has destroyed his field, and he doesn't speak anything aloud because he is in tension, but he should not pass on that tension to his family members, because the family members, when they are in trouble, they will look up to their father. The wife is going to look up to her husband, right? So Lancho's soul was filled with sadness because, as he had predicted, rain had come, but with rain a disaster in the form of hailstone and hailstorm had come, which had completely destroyed his field. So he was filled with sadness. Instead of saying that Lancho was filled with sadness, the author has used an extra word over here. Lancho's soul, inner conscience, it was filled with sadness. When the storm had passed, yes, when the hail stopped raining, when the storm had passed, he came out in the open in front of the house. He stood in the middle of the field, yes, and then he went into his field. He was standing right in the middle of the field. Around him, all the stem of the maize plant, corn plant, they were either broken, torn down by the hail, and all the flowers gone. That means not a single corn is to be expected from this crop this season. he stood in the middle of the field and said it to his sons. Now, the sons, they are also there. Earlier we had seen that when the hail started, the boys had ran out in the open, and they were collecting those hailstones which were looking like frozen pearls. But now they also are quite sad, because now they understood, because right 1 hour before they saw the crop swaying beautifully in the breeze, and they were quite happy that we are going to have lots of food, lots of money. But right now, even these small children or the elder ones, they completely understand that the field is completely destroyed, the crop is also destroyed, and now what are we going to do? First thing is, what are we going to eat? Right? We don't have any corn now, and we are not going to have any corn. It's the end of the season. Yes, so previously stored corn is not going to last longer, and this season we are not going to have it. So now they understand the situation, and they are also standing with the father. The father was standing in the field, and now he is addressing to the sons. A plague of locusts could have left more than this. Now, this disaster is compared with another one, another disaster. That disaster is about locusts. Locusts are small. This small insects, yes, which look in shape and size near about the grasshoppers. All of us have seen the big green grasshoppers. No, they are quite innocent, right? Grasshoppers, they are quite innocent, but locusts, they are quite dangerous, especially to the vegetation, and they come in huge swarms. Yes, in millions they come. Recently, Rajasthan, Gujarat, as far as Madhya Pradesh, they were hit by huge swarms of these insects. The collective noun used for that huge swarm of locust is plague. So plague is the collective noun for a huge group of locusts. Same way, one lion, but when lots of lion, the whole family of lion is passing through the jungle, we see 10, 11, 12 lions going to say, we call that collection of lions as pride of lions. So now you understand. Yes, so the locusts, the insects, when they fly in millions, yes, that is called a plague of locusts. The plague is a disease. But here it's not a disease, it is the collective noun for the insects, because they fly in huge number. They always fly from one place to another in huge number, and they also lay eggs, and more millions come out of that egg. So it is necessary to destroy the eggs also. But whole of the locusts, the big swarm, is known as plague. Now, the most devastating thing about the locusts is they eat everything which is green, vegetation, right? So because they fly in millions and they settle on a particular region, they eat out anything that is green. They will eat the leaves of the trees. So after the locusts have passed, you will find all the trees bare, because they have eaten the leaves. Whatever is green, they eat it, especially vegetation. So if they settle on the crop, the farmers try to drive it away with the help of sound or playing the drums, etc. Right? They're shooting, right? Because of the sound, they go away, right? They also burn a huge bonfire to keep the locusts away from their field, because once they settle on the field, they will eat away all the plants that are growing. They will eat away all the crops, right? So when any region is hit by locusts, that is a disaster not only for the crop but the nearby vegetation also. The grass, leaves, everything, fruit, etc., everything is eaten away by the locusts. So Lencho compares the destruction of the hailstorm to the plague of locusts. If the plague of locusts had attacked our valley, they could have left some plants, and we could have had some corn on it. But this disaster is even worse than a plague of locusts. A plague of locusts might have missed a plant, and we can find 5, 6 corn sticking out of the plant right after the plague have done the disaster. But this is even worse. We do not have any plant standing tall. We do not have any flower on the plant. All the plants or the crop is totally broken, bent, and it is of no use. Right? The hail has left us with nothing. Not a single plant standing tall. We are not going to have a single corn, a single maize this time. This year we will have no corn. That means this season is over for us. We are not going to have any harvest because plants are not there, flowers are not there. There will be no corn in the field, and that is where we whole of the year we are not going to have corn. We are in great trouble. We do not have enough to eat also. Let's sell and have some money. We don't have anything. This year we will have no corn. That night was a sorrowful one. The elder sons, the younger son, wife, because she's of age and she is quite mature to understand. She also has lots of experience because she has been working with her husband all the time, and she knows that this is a disaster. So everybody was quiet and everybody was filled with sorrow that it's a very dreadful thing. It's a complete disaster this year that we are not going to have any corn, and it's a very grim, it's a very serious situation. Yes, and everybody was sad. So that night was quite a sorrowful one for everybody, especially the head of the family, that is Lencho. Because he is the responsible person of the family, he is the bread earner of the family, and he is helpless right now. He doesn't have corn to eat, he doesn't have the harvest now, and plus he doesn't have money to survive till the next season. He has to wait till the next season so that he can sow again and wait for the harvest to come. So that full year he should have enough money to survive, but he is not having it. So with all that sadness, with all that tension, he is the most tense person in the family. Yes, others might go to sleep because they leave all the troubles on the father and go to sleep, but the father, Lancho, the farmer, he is not able to have any sleep. All our work for nothing. We toiled. Yes, farmers, when such things happen, they cry because for 3-4 months ahead of the season they have been working in the field like a bull. Yes, they had been toiling in the field. They get dirty, they get dusty, right? They do a lot of hard work in the on the soil. Yes, with the soil they do a lot of hard work, and they put in a lot of money also. Today's farmer, if you see, he is putting in lots and lots of money. He is investing whatever he has for a particular season. He has to buy seeds. First he has to prepare the soil. If he has a tractor, then he is paying for that tractor. He has paid for that tractor. He has to buy diesel. Yes, in the earlier times you worked with the ox or the bull, right? So that way he has worked very hard. He has sowed. He has taken care that the seeds are not eaten by the birds during daytime. When the plants start growing, he takes care that none of the domestic animals or the wildlife harm the crop which is coming up, plant which is coming up. When the fruit starts coming out, he has to see that birds don't eat it away, wildlife do not enter the farm and eat away or destroy the crop. He takes lots of care. Time to time he has to keep on watering. Yes, today this side, next day that side, again that side, that side. So he keeps on working so hard. And what happens? When the plants are ready, in just 1 month he could have had the harvest, or within 2 or 3 weeks time he could start taking the corn. He could have taken the harvest, but all the hard work, whatever hard work that they put in, all our work for nothing. Now they don't have anything. There is no one who can help us. Yes, we are talking over the olden times where population was very, very sparse. People used to live miles and miles away from each other. right? And this was the only family in the complete valley. There was nobody where they could have gone to ask for help. And even if they had someone, some other family, some other people owning some field and living over there, then also they could not have helped them, because they were also in the same situation. Their crop was also destroyed. But right now the situation is that is the only family in the valley. There is certainly no other person who can help them. We'll all go hungry this year. We are going to go hungry this year. Yes, we don't know how we are going to survive, but we do not have food, we do not have money. That's quite a serious problem for us. But in the hearts of all who lived in that solitary house in the middle of the valley, in the hearts of all those who lived in the solitary means lonely, which is quite, because that was the only house in the complete valley. There was no other house, there was no other family living. So it is completely solitary, or it is completely lonely. Now what do we have in our hearts? When we fail, when we do not get success, when we do not get what we expect, when our desires are not fulfilled, human beings, they have one certain thing in their hearts, and that is hope. Hope brings us out from difficulty. We never lose hope. Hope is the thing that we cling on to when we do not get what we want. Yes, we do not give up hope. Human beings, especially men, we do not give up hope. We cling to hope, because that hope is going to make us come out of trouble. What happens if we lose hope? If we lose hope, we lose all the strength to fight the situation. We give up. We do not give up if we have hope. If we have hope, we will try again. We'll again try. We'll fail, we'll again try. That hope is the thing which allows us to keep on trying, which makes us again keep on trying again and again, again and again. Why do we keep on trying? It is because we have hope in our hearts that this time I'm going to make it. This time I'm going to make it. This time I'll get success. Yes, and I'll never fail again in the life. I understood the message. I understood my mistake. I understood my error. Yes, I want to correct my error. When do you get a choice? When do you get a chance? When you have hope. You give up everything. You just sit. Do nothing. Will you ever get success? No. Until you do not have hope in your heart, you are not going to try again. So, in the hearts of all those who lived in that solitary house in the middle of the valley, there was a single hope. And what was that hope? Very important. Help from God. हनुमान चालीसा कब याद आता है? भगवान कब याद आते हैं? जब हम मुसीबत में होते हैं. Right? Usually we pray to God, yes, every day. Even if we don't pray, whenever we are passing in front of a mandir also, yes, we bow our head in respect to the God. Sometimes we do not even know which God resides in that temple. Yes, but we certainly give our respects to whichever deity is present in that holy temple, right? So, even if we don't pray, we still remember Him, and especially in the times of trouble, we certainly approach God. Yes, we certainly ask for God to help. That is our hope. Hope is equivalent to God. When we hope, yes, whom are we praying to? We are praying to God actually. I hope that I will get success next time. Yes, you are trying, you are doing your part, that's okay. But then you need luck, you need the grace of the God, you need the blessings of the God to work out that time and make you successful. So, the people of the house, they did not give up fighting. In their hearts, They did not give up hope. And what was their hope? They hope. Now, if there is no one to help them, who is going to help them? God is going to help them. God is omnipresent, omniscient. Yes, we cannot see him, but he is present everywhere. Right now also he is looking upon them. Yes, he knows that this family is in distress. If they ask for help, surely God is going to help them. So that small little hope allows them to survive more number of days, allows them to work in whichever situation they are and come out of that situation. That situation is always temporary. No situation is permanent. Situation is always temporary. We always find out a way to come out of the bad situation or the bad times. Bad times are always small little troubles that come in our way. So in the hearts of all those people living in that valley, in that family, in that solitary house, their hearts were filled with a single thing, that is hope, and that hope was help from God. So the father, the family members look upon the head of the family to give them strength to come out of the situation, to fight the situation and come out of the situation. You must have seen, even in the society, this thing happens on a continuous basis, right? So, all of a sudden, the elder dies or the head of the family dies, automatically the next head of the family, yes, the next most senior person, elder person, takes the position and tries to give comfort to the rest of the family. Again, all the rest of the family members, they look upon him or her because now he is the eldest person, she is the eldest person, and they do according to what is being told. They come out of that situation. So now Lencho, the farmer, he is addressing his family, he is giving them hope. Yes, if someone, some member of the family did not know how to cope up with the situation, with the words that Lencho is saying, they will certainly have a little hope in their hearts, and that hope will carry out them from this tough times. Don't be upset, even though this seems like a total loss. Yes, it is a total loss. There's nothing to seem like or look like. This is, you just go outside, step outside, whole of the field is covered with ice, and there's no plant standing, no crop over there. So this is a total loss. Yes, but what does he say? Don't be upset, even though this seems a total loss. Yes, he is very correct. Yes, he is very correct. This seems like a total loss because they still have a house, they still have lots of things standing. What happens? This big lumps of hail started falling from the sky. It would have destroyed the house also. They wouldn't have anywhere to live for many number of days until they build or repair their house or build a new one, right? That thing is not there, only the crop has destroyed. So everything is not lost, even though this seems to be a total loss. Yes, now he gives a very good advice. Actually, it's a proverb. Remember, no one dies of hunger, right? It becomes a proverb when it is proven in time. Each and every time when such a situation comes, the proverb is true. So people start believing in the proverb. People have a belief in those words. What are those words? No one dies of hunger. Why is it so? Yes, we have discussed this earlier. We have discussed this today also. God is omnipresent. God is omniscient. He is present. We cannot see God, but in one or another way, God always helps. He doesn't allow His children, that is us human beings, to go hungry. Okay, 1 or 2 days we might go hungry, but then there is something that satisfies our hunger. Somewhere someone reaches us and we get the food, right? So must have seen poor people also. Yes, they might go hungry for say 1 day, 2 day, but then suddenly some generous people come over there and help them out with food, and they satisfy their hunger. So somewhere God sends someone, or with one or another way God helps them out. So remember, no one dies. It's not unheard of. We are talking about the quite ancient time or old times, when the population was less and there was everything that the earth can give to us, and we had sufficient things so to satisfy all our needs, right? So God does not let anyone go hungry, and nobody dies of hunger. Yes, and you can survive without food for quite a lot of number of days, and in between those days certainly there are ways where you can get hold of some food and you can survive again for another few days, right? So in that way, the tough time, the difficult situation, we do face lots of difficult situation and we go through tough times, but at the end that period is quite short. Again, we overcome that situation. Yes, we overcome that tough times, we pass out that tough time, and again we are back to normal. So remember, no one dies of hunger. No one dies of hunger is a proverb. That's what they say. They means people. People means society. It's a proven thing in the society that no one goes hungry for quite a long time, because we know for a stretch of so many days then people will start dying of hunger, but that thing doesn't happen. No one dies of hunger. Yes, God sees to it that within a very short time some relief is provided and people do come out of it. Yes, their belly is satisfied. Yes, the belly is full with food and they come out of that situation. But it is unheard of in the olden times that anyone might have gone or might have died because of hunger. Yes, you do not have the crop, but then you certainly have lots of other things to eat. Yes, so no one dies of hunger. We'll find out some way how to survive. That is what the head of the family, Lencho, wants to tell us. All through the night, Lencho thought only of his one hope, the help of God. Now, we have discussed this, that Lencho is the head of the family. He is the person responsible for each and every family member. Yes, rest of the family members can go to sleep because they have given all their tension and worries to father or husband. Even the wife might have gone to sleep because she has complete trust on her husband. The children, they go to sleep satisfied. Yes, they go to sleep because they have complete trust on the head of the family, their father. That father will do something for us. So who is the most tense person? Who is in tension? Father. The farmer, Lencho, he is tense. He cannot find sleep. So whole of the night, maybe he is lying on his bed, but with his eyes open. There is no sleep in his eyes. It is because now whole of the year he has to survive with his family. He has to feed his family. He has to clothe his family and also have seeds enough for the next season. So for that complete stretch, he has to think, yes, how he is going to survive. So he cannot rest. Even though he is lying over there, he is restless on the bed. His eyes are open. His eyes are filled with tension. Yes, and he is completely engrossed in his tension, and he finds only one thing in his heart. He has only one thing in his mind, his one hope, the help from God. Now, how to approach God? He knows God is seeing all this, but then I should be assured because now I have one complete year to survive. God is looking at it. Perhaps God wants the man to come to him. Now, how will a man approach God? Right? Where to find him? How to complain? How to get help? So, he is troubled with all these thoughts in the night. He is having a hope he will get help from God because he has complete belief. Whole of this story is about complete belief, absolutely blind belief in God, whose eyes, as he had been instructed, see everything. Now, some very good words are used by the author over here. Yes, whose eyes, as he had been instructed. Now, who instructs you? Your father, mother, your grandfather, grandmother, on mother's side, father's side, your uncles, aunts, both on mother's side, father's side, they constantly tell you these things. When you were small, yes, quite small, they used to teach us. Even the neighbors teach us. Yes, we have very good neighbors. Yeah, they take lots of care. Right. Anything. Always they teach us. Yes, when we do something wrong, when we lie for the first time, maybe they tell us lying is not good. What do they tell us? God is looking at us. Nobody knows what you are doing. You haven't done a big crime, right? You went to the kitchen when nobody was there, opened the tumbler of where sugar is kept. Yes, you just opened it and you ate some sugar. You thought nobody was saying. But what has been instructed? So what is this word instructed doing? It has been taught to you again and again, again and again. It has been instructed to you that nobody is looking. Yes, you are absolutely right. There was nobody in the house, but who knew you ate a handful of sugar or some sweets lying in the refrigerator? Who saw that? God saw that. So he has been instructed. That is the meaning. Very beautifully it has been written. Yes, this is where we need to understand the language. We have to read in between the lines. We have to be with the author if we want to understand actually what he is trying to say and how he is trying to say. How does he put his words? Yes, if we just read as he had been instructed, we will not be able to understand the correct meaning with which the author has written. Right? So, as he had been instructed, that means as he had been told right from the start, right from the childhood. What he has been told, see everything. Who? God. It is like this. God whose eyes and then see everything. I'll rub the part which is not important right now. Yes. Now, see the sentence how it is formed? God whose eyes. God, comma, whose eyes, comma, see everything. Right? Beautifully written and beautifully framed out. Right? This part of the sentence. We have always been told that God is omnipresent, omniscience. He is present everywhere. We cannot see him, but he is present. Yes, he is present in the living. He is present in the non-living. He is present where the atmosphere is. He is present where the atmosphere is absent. Right? He is present in the air, land, water, everywhere he is present. So he sees. We have been told right from the childhood, we have been instructed right from the childhood, this has been taught to us again and again, again and again, right from the childhood, that God, you cannot miss God. God looks upon you each and every second, each in every microsecond, nanosecond. He watches you. He knows what you are doing. He even knows what's going on in your mind. Right? So whose eyes see everything, even what is deep in one's conscience. Yes? Not only does he see whatever physical you can see, but he can also see what is going on in your mind. Yes, what is going on in your heart. He knows that also. Yes? We have been taught right from the childhood. Yes? Not to think anything bad. Yes, not to do anything bad. We have been told in different ways. Yes, kabhi galat nahi karna, right? Kabhi jhoot nahi bolna. We have been told these things. Yes, even if nobody knows that you are lying, but God knows what is in your conscience. You have spoken a lie. We have been told this thing. So it is not only about seeing everything. It is also about God also knows what is very deep in one's conscience, in one's heart. What is the purity? Yes, and what impurity is there. He sees all that. He knows your thoughts. Everything he knows. Even what is deep in one's conscience. Conscience is your soul. Conscience is your soul. Yes, mind is different thing. Conscience, the soul is different. Body. Three things are. We are made up of three things. What is that? One is the body. Second is the brain. And the third thing is our soul. That is the conscience. Lencho was an ox of a man. This is again uh, it's not. Lencho was an ox of a man. Ox of a man, ox we know works in the field. It is a hard working animal. Farmers depend upon ox, right? Because they continuously, in the olden times, there were no tractors. They were dependent completely on the ox, whether it is our country or whether it is any other country, right? In other countries where oxes were not used, then horse was used. Some animal, domesticated animal was, but he worked laboriously like an ox, just as an ox works laboriously. We don't pay an ox, yes, but we take good care of him. Yes, when he is sick, when that animal is sick, we take care of that animal. Yes, because our life is dependent on it. Yes, we work with him. We fall in love with that animal. If anything happens to that animal, we automatically rush forward and try to help out the enemy to come out of that difficult times, and again he's back to normal. We don't want immediately to make him work in the field. Yes, we give enough rest, and when he's hale and hearty again, we again make him work in the field. He does not get paid, but we take good care of him. Food, water, shelter. When we take an off, when the farmer takes an off, right, because of the sun, now and then he has to take an off, he also brings his animal in the tree's shade. Yes, that is the respect that a farmer gives to his animals with which he makes them work in the field. So Lancho, just like the ox, he works physically and laboriously in the field. So Lancho is compared with ox. Lancho is not compared with an animal, but the good properties, the strength of the animal. That means he is a hard worker. Ox is known for hard work, toil. Same way, Lencho, he was a farmer. He has to work in the field, out in the open, under all climate, under all season. He has to work over there, just like an ox, a hard-working person. Working like an animal in the fields, just like the ox works in the field. Same way, Lencho also works with that ox. Yes, Lancho, even when the ox is resting and it's not his work, the ox cannot take out the grass or the weeds. He cannot, the ox cannot make pits for the water to flow. All that thing has to be done in the field by Lancho. At that time, the ox might be resting, but Lancho, because it is his field, it is going to be his crop, he is going to take the harvest. He has to be worried, so he works hard, just like an ox. So the author compares Lencho with that of with ox. He was ox of a man. That means if in the man there is any category of an animal, then Lencho is certainly can be compared with an ox. Working like an animal in the fields, but still he knew how to write. See the comparisons made and the wordings that are used by the author. Yes, he was, because farmer, he lives in the rural area, farmer lives in a remote area. Farmer, the children sometimes have the opportunity to go to read and write. Most of the time in the olden days, the farmers, they did not have any place to send their children to school or do some reading and writing, because all the time the farmer needed more hands to work with him. He cannot work all alone in his field. He needs more hands of his family to work with him, to help him out, right? So usually even today we see that 80% of our India lives in the villages, but still we have that majority of that population living in the rural area is illiterate. Yes, this is the main reason. Yes, because all the hands of the family are required over there. They are not needed to get the education. That is what these people think. Yes, farmers think, because they need more hands. So this is a very beautiful comparison done over here, that you can compare Lencho with an ox because he works like that in the field. But then also he was a learned man. He knew how to read and write. That is quite a good thing for Lencho. Yes, That means he was a self-educated man. We are not told about that. Maybe he got education when he was a child, but even though working like an ox in the field, he still had education and he knew how to write. The following Sunday at daybreak. So now there was one question. What was that question? How to ask help from God. Now we are coming to that answer. The following Sunday at daybreak, in the morning. Daybreak, when it is dawn. Yes, dawn is the earlier part of the day, the beginning of the day, where the night is still there and the sun's rays are also coming up, right? So there is a mixture of night and day. So that's the daybreak. The following Sunday, that means next Sunday, he began to write a letter which he himself would carry to the town and place in the mail. He started writing. He was a man of letters. No, man of letters is different thing. Yes, but he knew how to read and write. Now, early in the morning on Sunday, he sits down to write a letter because he knows how to read and write, but we don't know that much. But still, in whatever way, he needs time because he is good in the fields. He is good with the hard work. He is not that much good with letters. He is not that much good with language, right? He is a simple man and he doesn't know all those difficult words to use in the writing. So for him, it will take lots of time to gather all the words, yes, put them in a proper way and finish the letter. So at daybreak, he sat down to write a letter, and when he finishes that letter, he is going to take that letter himself to town and post it in the post office. Place it in the mail. That means in the earlier days, the post office didn't have those letter boxes all around the region. Yes, you had to walk all the way to the post office and drop a letter over there, right? And then they used to collect it and send wherever you want to send it. So he will write the letter himself, and the next day, that is Monday, because Sunday is off everywhere. So on Monday, when the post office open in the morning, he will walk all the way, or he will go all the way to the town, nearest town, and drop it in the mailbox. It was nothing less than a letter to God, right? We have that ending line of the paragraph. It tells us what he is doing. What is he doing? That letter was nothing. The letter was written to God himself. It was addressed to God. He needed help. He wanted to communicate with God. He wanted to converse with God. He wanted to correspond with God. Main thing is he wanted God to know his difficulty and he wanted to get help from God. And that is why he thinks of writing a letter to God. That letter was nothing less than a letter to God. Nothing less than a letter to God. That means it was surely a letter to God. But we are told in such a way, it was nothing less than a letter to God, right? He wrote a letter, but to whom? God. Now, it's quite a funny thing, right? We all know that you cannot write a letter to God. Even though you can write it, but then you can even post it. Is it going to reach God? Yes. Does the post people know the address of God? Right? No, we do not know. Nobody living knows the address of God. What did he write in that letter? This is the content of the letter, whole of this paragraph. And at the end, 3-4 dots are given. That means it continues. Yes, but the main part of the letter, the main content, the important part of the letter is this much. It might continue, the story might continue. He wants to tell God how it happened. So now let us read, let us learn what he has written in the letter. God, he wrote, if you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. He has written the fact. He has to worry about the whole year, because if they had got the corn, then they do not have to worry about the whole year, because that corn was enough for them to eat, consume, and the rest they can have sold it in the market, got some money, and with that, because you need to spend lots of money in the house also. Yes, you need to buy other ingredients of food, you need to clothe yourself. Yes, there are festivals coming, you need to spend a little bit money, you need a lot of money in the field also, there's lots of expense. Yes, but if that crop would have come, There was nothing to worry about, but there, now they have nothing. So he writes in very plain English, very plain language, that if you don't help me, surely me and my family are going to go hungry. Now what did I say? Me and my family. That's a mistake usually people make. Whenever we are included somewhere, we should keep ourselves afterwards, not before, not in the front. Yes, brother and you were going. So it is not I and my brother were going, it is my brother and I, yes, going. So my family and I will go hungry this year. This is the fact that he writes. I need 100 pesos. Now all throughout that Sunday he has counted exactly how much money he needs for the complete year. Yes, he needs 100 pesos. In those days, even in India, if we talk about the olden days, say 50, 60, 70, even when we got independence, value of 1 rupee was quite huge. Value of 1 rupee, I am saying. Yes, that worth is just 1 rupee. 1 rupee is equal to 1 rupee. 1 rupee is equal to 100 paisa. But for 25 paisa also you can buy lots of things. Lots of food stuff. Today, 25 paisa is still 25 paisa, but it doesn't have that value. Yes, you give it to a beggar, he will give it back to you. बोले ये नहीं चलता साहब. Yes, 1 रुपया दो, 5 रुपया दो, 10. आजकल तो beggar भी he asks for 10 rupees. It doesn't ask for 5 rupees also, right? क्योंकि 5 रुपए में भी coin आता है. Notes तो बंद ही हो गया पता नहीं. Right? So he has calculated the exact amount that he needs, and that amount is 100 peso. Peso is a currency in whichever country they might be living. Yes, we are not told that, we are not going to discuss it. Pesos is the currency. Rupee is the currency in India, dollar in USA, same way, peso, wherever they might be living. In order to sow my field again and to live until the crop comes. Now, traditionally in the olden days, you take a crop, say 100 bags of whatever crop you have taken, whether it is wheat, whether it is jowar, whether it is rice. Here it is maize crop. Now, when you take the crop, say 100 bags, you keep 20 bags, you take out the seeds, you dry the seeds, and you keep it as sowing for the next year. You use that same seed to sow for the next year. Yes? 2040 you keep it for yourself, the rest of the 2040 you sell it in the market, right? So that is how the farmers used to survive. They had little bit money with them because they sold their produce in the market for the whole year to go on. They need to buy vegetables, oil, different ingredients, spices, condiments, clothes, bed sheets, what all the odd things of the household. They need money to buy that. So some of the product they will sell in the market, have little money with them so that they can keep on spending for the until, and they will have seeds for the next season. So when the next season comes, they have 20-30 bags over there, they'll sow, again they will have crop. So that is the rotation that they have. So I need 100 pesos. I need to buy corn right now and keep it so that for next year I'll have seeds. Plus the complete year I need to do lots of expenses to live until the crop comes. I need to live to work in the field, to sow, to water, to allow the plants to grow, the flowers coming out, then the fruits coming out, and the plant is ready to give me harvest. I need to live up till then. So he has completed for the complete stretch of time and has come to a figure of 100 pesos. I need 100 pesos. Please give me. Because the hailstorm. Now he gives the reason also, because the hailstorm instead of rain, and the continuous story. But this is the main essence of the story. Yes, the main content part of the story, that I am in trouble. I need this much money to survive for the complete year. Why? Because the hailstorm has destroyed my crop. So we come to the end of today's lecture. Thank you, students.